Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Welcome to week 9 of Ear Training 3. This week we're going to be focusing on Modulations 2. And I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, this pineapple. And also, if I sound particularly good, or if the lighting is particularly good, you'll be delighted to know that we got the funds to rehire Doug and rehire Jenny. So we're glad to have them both back. Let's hear a round of applause for Doug and Jenny. You're right, Pineapple, I did miss them. So for this week's video, what we're going to do is we're going to first do an exercise. We're then going to do a couple of melodies, and then we're going to close out with some arpeggios. And I'm going to try to get it all into one video this week to make it maximally efficient. So the whole exercise will pop up on the screen right here. And you can look at it in the handout that I circulated through email, or it's also up on Moodle. For this, I'm just going to show part of it so that I can zoom into it. And then I'll change the picture as we go through the exercise. But the deal is that you keep modulating up a step, so you're going to the supertonic in each consecutive key. So if you're beginning in C, then you're going to D, and then you're going to E, then you're going to F sharp, and then G sharp, but I'm going to respell it A flat, and then B flat, and then back to C. So what happens in each of these is you're going do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, re, and before you get back to do, you hit D, which is going to lead you to re. I think your solfege should first hear that as D, and then go sol, la, ti, do, because when you first hear it, you're going to think, oh, I'm just briefly tonicizing, but then you give it this little cadential formula of going sol, la, ti, do. And then you're in your new key. And then you go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, re, di, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, re, and so on. And notice how this ends. I just clip off the little pattern by, instead of going di, sol, la, ti, do, right at the end it goes di, re, sol, ti, do. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, re, di, re, so, ti, do, is how this whole thing will end. Here are some fun facts about pineapples. Fact number 1, they are neither pines nor apples. A cluster of hundreds of smaller fruits. So each of these little holes here, those are individual fruits. And the pineapple itself is made up of a bunch of fruits. Isn't that interesting? Right, these are half notes. 1, 2, ready? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, di, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, di, sol, la, do, sol, di. Did you know in colonial New England, the pineapple was a symbol of hospitality and kindness? Which is why I wanted to purchase pineapples to give to Doug and Jenny upon their return to the show. Unfortunately, due to budgetary concerns, we could only afford one pineapple, so I kept it. The pineapple is a member of the plant family Bromeliad. The Bromeliads. Because it's like bro, and there's sunglasses, and like it's kind of bro-y, right? It's time to sing some melodies. It's time to sing some melodies. Bro. You might remember that we started this modulation section of things with a foxtrot. I still haven't learned what a foxtrot is. And that sounded like this. Something like that. For this week, I've adapted that tune, which tonicizes 2, to be this. So the initial part of it is in the tonic. It's sort of like this introduction to what ends up being a kind of sentence structure here. So then that is so, 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 and then you start the basic idea. And then the basic idea repeats a G. And then the continuation. So that's how that tune goes. I'll let you work on that on your own. You don't need an accompaniment from me for that one. This tune is by Will Marion Cook, who was a pioneer in black-owned and produced shows in early 20th century Broadway. Doug, how's the sound on that? I thought it sounded pretty good. Good job, Doug. Good job. This particular pineapple was phone banking for Elizabeth Warren yesterday. Now, you might be saying, well, Elizabeth Warren isn't up for re-election this year. And you'd be right. And I tried to explain that to this pineapple, but it wouldn't listen because it's a pineapple. And pineapples don't have ears. Or brains. Next we have a little ditty by Francois Couperin. It starts in B flat. So you should start... I'm going to use a harpsichord for this because, you know, it sounds baroque. It starts in B flat. So you'll have, it would be so, la, so. Definitely before the B naturals, you're going to want to switch to C, to solfege for C minor. Maybe in the third full measure, maybe even at the end of the second full measure. You could possibly hold off to the fourth full measure, depending on how your ear goes. So I'm going to play you the actual piece here, so you can hear what the underlying accompaniment would be. And feel free to sing along as you practice this. 1, 2. So where do you switch in that? Well, at the beginning, you know, you're almost certainly so, so, but then by the third full measure, you're probably hearing may, re, may, fa. So by the time you're in the fourth full measure, you should have switched. You should switch, and you know, switch wherever your ear tells you to before that. That was a very funny joke, Pineapple. Pineapple, would you like to show us your sweet, sweet recorder skills? That's very thoughtful playing, Pineapple. And then there's this cute little ditty from Henry Purcell's King Arthur. I'm going to use a accordion sound to sort of have that folky sound that I think Purcell's going for here. I read on the internet that pineapples ripen better when you store them upside down. But how would you store a pineapple upside down? How? Because when you put it down upside down, it just falls. Apparently, we've got this thing 1509 in your book. It's a duet with continuo underneath. So what I would encourage you to do is go through and sing both of the lines. Now, to hand in, you just need to do to choose one of the two sung lines to do. But I would encourage you to do both of them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the two vocal lines, and then I'll add the accompaniment to it. 1, 2. going to play it as an accompaniment. So as if I was basically like accompanying two singers, I'm going to play what I would play for that. So sing along your line while I play the accompaniment for you. So 1, 2. If you happen to be living with someone or in a group with someone and everybody's getting tested and it's safe to do so, this would be a really cool thing for you to sing together in a duet. I would love to get some asynchronous recordings of people singing it together, but only do it if you're doing it safely. So this week we're foregoing pivot chords. If you want the smoothest modulation possible, you use a pivot chord. But you can also get a relatively smooth modulation if you don't use a pivot chord and you're going to a closely related key. What's a closely related key? Closely related key is a key whose tonic triad is shared by your home scale. So if you're going to the dominant, let's say you're in C and you're going to G, that G major triad, the tonic triad of the key that you're going to is in the C major scale. So that's closely related. The same thing with going to 2. If you're in C and you're going to D minor, the D minor triad is in your home scale. So it's closely related. I think if you crane your neck and like squint your eyes, you can see a pivot chord in this piece here. But I think the best way to think about it is just thinking about that B flat, just changing to D minor at that point. So one of your assignments for this week is to play arpeggios that are drawn from this piece. And you'll notice that when I notate the arpeggios, we start with a 1, and then we go to a 4, 6, 4 to 1. And that's the first 2 chords in the second system here. But then after that, we go back to a 1, and then we go to a 4, 6 in the key of 2. And so if you look at that B flat in the bass there, it's a 4-6 in D minor. And what I'm showing with these Roman numerals is that we're not really hearing a pivot chord moment here. We're just basically hearing that we're going to this closely related key of 2. And so we're going to change our solfege at that B flat, and we're going to, from there on out, be in D minor. Like I said, what I'd like you to just do is play this progression using these Roman numerals, and it can be in C. So you're just basically accompanying this duet. So you'll play a 1, a 4, 6, 4 to 1, and then you'll go into the into D minor with your 4, 6, 5, 5, 4, 2, 1, 6, 4, and so on. So figure out those chords, and that's that part of the assignment. You know, a pineapple is a lot like an arpeggio. As if a pineapple is a fruit made up of a lot of smaller fruitlets, an arpeggio is a chord made up of a lot of smaller notes. That's pretty profound, isn't it? Boo! Then finally there's 2 short arpeggios this week. One is a 1 to 6 to 4, and then no pivot chord, you just pick up all your pieces and you start again in 2 with a 5, 4, 3 to 1, then a 5, 6, 5 to 1. So, and like, let's think about how we would get from a 4 chord in 1 to a 5, 4, 3 chord in 2. So let's just think about this in C major for a second. If you are on an F chord, which would be the 4 chord, and then you're going to a 5, 4, 3 in the key of D minor. Okay, a 5, 7 chord would be an A dominant 7th. Put it in second inversion. Oh, E is in the bass. Okay, so it's going to be Re, Fa, So, T, but that Re is only a half step down from the Fa that you ended up with. So you're going from like thinking in C major, going from an F major chord to an A dominant 7th with E in the bass. So F down to E, which is going to be Re. All right, let's try that. Ready? And Do, La, Fa. Now down a half step to Re, Fa. Unfortunately, as part of negotiations to get Doug and Jenny back, I had to agree to forego all puns associated with the arpeggio section. So today we are just doing arpeggios, but with a pineapple. Second one we've got, we have a 1, going to a 5-4-2, going to a 1-6, and then we do a 5-7 of 5 in the key of 2. Let's think about this in C major again. If you were going from a C major chord in first inversion to a 5 of 5 in the key of D, right? 5 in D is A, so 5 of 5 is E, so an E dominant 7th. Okay, so you've ended with something with E in the bass. It's a C major chord in first inversion, going to an E dominant 7th chord. So we're going to hold that E, and we're going to make a dominant 7th off of it. And then we're off to the races, because then it's 5 of 5. That's going to go to a 5. However, it's going to be a 5-4-2, 1-6, 4, 5-7, 1. Altogether is going to sound like this. 1 to 5-4-2 to 1-6, which becomes 5 of 5 in 2, which becomes 5-4-2 to 1-6, 4, 5-7, 1. Okay. 1, 2, ready, and... So what are you doing this week? All right, so for your performances, people that are doing it asynchronously and synchronously are doing the same thing this week. You're going to sing the modulating exercise all the way through all of the modulations, C to D to E to F sharp, etc., etc. Then I want you to pick 2 from the Foxtrot, the Rondo, and the King Arthur selection. And then you'll just record or perform 2 of those. And then I want you to sing one of the vocal lines from the duet that we did, and do it in whatever octave you like. Then you're going to play the accompaniment to that duet. And you can play that accompaniment as block chords, or you can arpeggiate it, whichever you prefer, but you're going to do that on a keyboard or on your melodica. And then you'll sing the 2 other arpeggios. On Owl, you'll find one 2-part dictation where you're taking both the melody line and the bass line, and then there's going to be some quick reaction stuff that will involve the modulations that we talked about this week. Thanks for watching this week's videos. We've only got a few weeks left, so thanks for coming along with me for this sprint to the end of the semester. Happy November and stay safe. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? I am a pineapple. Da 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 da. Pineapple, pineapple. I don't know any of the words to this song. Ugh, that's a stupid way to end the video. Boo!